As a single professional, I had debt and no savings after my divorce. I always wonder how I can start investing in real estate to secure my future. I studied programs that gave me all the benefits of investing in real estate. Some claim I could start with no money, but I could not find one that gave me the practical, actionable steps I needed. As a wealth advisor, I've met people that own real estate but weren't ahead financially. They were rich, but they weren't wealthy. Then I finally realized that there was one vital component missing that makes someone become wealthy or not. And on this show, I will reveal what I found and give you the step-by-step actions to start investing in real estate and increase your wealth. My name is Araceli. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. This is Araceli, and I'm a real estate investor and also a wealth advisor. In this channel, Build Wealth with Araceli, I bring people that have so much experience that you can benefit from. And today I have the honor to interview Jay Connor, and he is from North Carolina. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and I'm going to read his bio because it's so long and so accomplished. So he has been buying houses since 2003 in a population of only 40,000 people, with profits averaging $71,000. He rehabbed over 450 houses and have been involved in over $52 million in transactions. And in the last 7 years, Jay has completely automated his seven-figure income business to where he works in his business less than 10 hours per week. He has consulted one-on-one with over 2,000 real estate investors and raised over $2 million in less than 90 days in private money when cut off from the banks. He's also a commercial developer. He is a national speaker on the topics of private money, automation, and foreclosure. He's a best-selling author of Where to Get the Money Now. Stay to the end of this interview so you can get a copy of that. And he's a leading expert on private lending, marketing, and business development. He's a past president of Business Network International, and he and his wife, Carol Joy, reside in Morehead City, North Carolina. And so welcome, Jay. That's like the big, so much that you have done. Tell us more about what you're doing right now before you get started with how to get money.
Sure, Araceli. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me to come on your show here to talk about the subject and the topic that I'm so passionate about, and that is private money. And you know, Araceli, when we say private money, I'm not talking about hard money. I'm not talking about hard money lenders or brokers or any kind of institutional money. I'm talking about doing business with individuals that have retirement accounts, investment capital to fund our real estate deals. So again, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, as you said, my wife and I, Carol Joy, we started full-time in Eastern North Carolina, investing in single family houses. So that was in 2003.
Yeah.
And we've rehabbed a ton of houses since that time. Well, here's the story as to how I got into private money. I can tell you how I did not get into private money. I just didn't wake up one morning and say, hey, I think I'll go raise some private money. No. You know, our biggest opportunities and growth takes place when there is a problem, when there's a challenge, right?
Absolutely.
Growth takes place in the valley, not on top of the mountaintop. Well, here's exactly what happened to where this opportunity came along to really make a huge breakthrough. In fact, private money, Araceli, is the biggest breakthrough, the biggest blessing I've ever had in my real estate investing business. From 2003 until 2009, I relied on the local banks and mortgage companies to fund my real estate deals. That's all I knew to do.
Of course.
I didn't know anything else, right? So for the first 6 years, that's what I would do. I'd get a house under contract. I had a line of credit at the local bank. I had a fantastic, beautiful relationship with my banker for 6 years, 2003 to 2009. We did a ton of deals. And Araceli, here's what happened. In January 2009, I picked up my telephone receiver. Actually, we still have handsets and cords in North Carolina, right? So I picked up my phone and I called Steve, my banker. I had 2 houses under contract to buy. They were going to be worth over $100,000 in profit on those 2 houses. So I called him up and I had the conversation I'd had with Steve many, many times. I told him where the 2 houses were located, the funding required, when I wanted to close. And Araceli, here's what I learned on that conversation very quickly. My line of credit had been shut down, cut off, no notice. And I had a great credit score, 800 credit score. I'd never been late on my payments with my banker for 6 years. And here I am being cut off from the bank with no notice. You see, I said,
What
I
happened?
didn't know. Go ahead.
What happened? So what happened? Why did they cut it out?
Exactly. So I didn't know there was a global financial crisis going on in 2009 until I lose my line of credit. Now I've got a financial crisis going on and like, oh my lands, when did this start happening? Well, Araceli, I don't know if you're old enough or not to remember what was going on in 2007, 2008, 2009. Like everybody got cut off. It's like the funding was turned off like a spigot overnight. And so here I am. I hung up the phone from my banker and I sat here at my desk, Araceli, and I thought to myself, first of all, what am I going to do? And I sat here and thought for a couple of minutes, and I had a mantra come to my mind. And here's what I wrote down. I said, Jay, it's impossible to fail unless you choose to quit. And quitting was not an option for me. The next thought I had was, who do I know that can help me with my problem? Who do I know that can help me with my problem? That's another writer downer right there. If you are listening to this show and you're going through some type of difficulty personally or in your business, ask yourself, who do you know that can help you with your challenge, with your difficulty? Well, immediately, my friend Jeff came to mind, who lived in Greensboro, North Carolina at the time. He was a real estate investor. I called up Jeff. So here we are taking action, not letting the difficulty or challenge beat us down. I picked up the phone. I called Jeff. I told him what had happened. He said, Jay, welcome to the club. I said, what club? He said, the club of losing your line of credit at the bank. I said, what do you mean? He says, yeah, my bank cut me off last week. I said, what are you going to do to fund your deals? He said, I'm using private money. I said, what is private money? I'd never heard of private money, never heard of private lending. I'd never heard of self-directed IRAs or anything like that. Jeff introduced me to that idea. So, Araceli, I put on my research hat. I learned about private money, what it's all about. I put my program together. And Araceli, I started teaching people that I knew and know in my own network what private money is, what private lending is. And you know what, Araceli? I didn't ask anybody for money. I didn't ask anybody for money. In fact, to this date, I've never asked anybody for money. And people all the time say, Jay, how do you have $8.5 million in private money funding available to you? And you never ask anybody for money. And here's the answer. I put on my teacher hat, okay? And I started teaching people the private lending program that I'd put together as to how people can loan money on my real estate deals, earn high rates of return safely and securely. And so guess what? I taught them my program and now they started chasing me. wanting to
Yay.
loan me money. And so, you know what, Araceli, since that time in January 2009, I've never missed out on a deal for not having the funding. In fact, I've got a big problem. I've got more private money than I can use. More private money is chasing me on this side of COVID than ever before. But that's how I got started in it. You know what, Araceli, why that's the biggest blessing in my business? If it hadn't have been for that problem, you and I wouldn't be visiting today right here on your show.
That's right.
And so, you know, it was such a big blessing in disguise. The first 12 months of being cut off from the bank and starting to use private money, Carol Joy and me, our business tripled in that first 12 months from losing my line of credit. And here's why. You remember all those foreclosures that were going on in 2008, 2009? Well, the banks weren't loaning money, right? Your banker will give you an umbrella when the sun is shining, right? And so because I had private money, I was able to buy all the pick and choose the bank properties and foreclosures that I wanted because of private money. To this day, I've never missed out on a deal for not having the funding, and private money has had the biggest impact on mine and Carol Joy's business. And that's how we got started doing it. It was a problem turned into the biggest opportunity we've ever had.
So that is an amazing story. And you are totally right about when you have the problem, you need to look for the solution. And as real estate investors, no matter how much money you have, at some point or another, you're going to run out of money if you want to continue to buy. Right? I didn't start investing as far as you have, and I see that you have gone through that. And then the pandemic, it also kind of gave us a little bit of the same thing. We haven't seen the full, chaos yet, but something like that is going to happen. So tell me, Jay, for people that are new investors and they're afraid of private money, how can they get themselves buying properties with private money? What do they have to do?
Yeah, well, there's a few things that causes fear among new real estate investors, or actually seasoned real estate investors that have never used private money. Mm-hmm. So first of all, it starts with your mindset. Of course, everything does, right? Everything does start with your mindset. So part of the mindset is you're not asking, you're not begging, you're not chasing, you're not selling, you're teaching, right? So one of the fears that real estate investors have that have never borrowed private money is they think they got to pitch a deal, they got a fear of rejection, they've got a fear. So here's where the mindset starts, Araceli. The old traditional way of borrowing money for your real estate deals, or borrowing money, period, is you go to your banker, you go in her office or his office, you get on your hands and knees, you put your hands underneath your chin, and you go, please, please, please fund my deal. Please, please loan me money. Please please give me a mortgage. Guess what? In this world of private money, it's opposite than that, right? It's a 180-degree shift, right? Using private money, we're not asking anybody for money. We're not selling. Guess what? It's our program. You see, we're not asking for a mortgage. We're offering a mortgage. There's a writer downer. Okay. We're not asking for a mortgage. We're offering a mortgage. So we set the interest rate, not the bank. We set the frequency of payments, not the bank. We set the length of the note, not the bank. It's our program. And so that's where the mind shift starts, right there. We are not asking anybody for anything. We're offering them an opportunity to earn high rates of return safely and securely. And so you see, another part of the mindset is, I said a moment ago, Araceli, I've never pitched a deal. I've never pitched a deal. And they say, Jay, how do you get funding for a deal if you don't pitch your deal?
Yeah, how?
Here's how it works. So we separate, this is important. We separate teaching the program to private lenders or a potential private lender, and having a deal to fund. Now, let that soak in. We're going to separate the conversation of teaching somebody the private lending program and having a deal for them to fund. You see, the worst time to be raising private money is when you need it.
True, true. Exactly.
Right? That's the worst time. The best time to raise private money is when you don't need it, right? You see, I've got friends, Araceli, that teach, oh, just get the deal under contract. Get the house under contract. The money will come.
That's usually the case, right?
Where is the money going to come from if I'm going to get a deal under contract? Give me, unless you're wholesaling.
Yeah.
Unless you're wholesaling. If you're wholesaling, you got a buyer's list of other real estate investors going to take the deal down and pay you an assignment fee. You don't need private money to wholesale. I just happen to like $71,000 better than $7,100 of an assignment fee, right? So I teach and I practice the money comes first, okay? Money comes first. So let's back to separating the conversations. So first conversation is I want to teach a new. I mean, I may have a private lender luncheon and I may teach 25 new prospective private lenders what the private lending program is. So I teach them the program. How are they protected? How can they get their money back in case of an emergency? What's the interest rate? All that. So I teach it, and then they're chasing me. I don't have a deal. I'm not presenting a deal. You see, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Araceli.
Yeah.
If I'm teaching the program and in the same conversation, I have a deal for them to fund, I already sound desperate. Without even trying to sound desperate. So first, we're going to teach the program. They're going to let us know how much money they have to invest. Is it liquid capital? Is it retirement funds? If it's retirement funds, then I need to introduce them to my self-directed IRA company that I recommend. They can transfer their retirement funds over there. That normally takes 2 to 4 weeks. Now they're ready to go. So they're on board. They got the money. I know how much money they got. Here's step number 2. Now, they're on board. We know how much money they got. So maybe within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Don't wait too long. I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to call them up. And Araceli, I'm going to tell my private lender 4 things. 4 things.
What's that?
The 4 things I'm going to tell my private lender. Let's say, Araceli, you're my new private lender. I'm going to call you and say, hey, Araceli, this is Jay Connor. How you doing today? You're going to say, great. Fantastic. You're doing great, right? And here's the conversation. Araceli, I've got fantastic news for you. I can now put your $150,000 to work and get it invested for you. I have a house under contract in Newport, North Carolina, with an after repaired value of $200,000. The funding required is what you have, $150,000. The closing is next Thursday, so you'll need to have your funds wired to my real estate attorney next Wednesday. End of script. End of conversation. I didn't ask you, do you want to do the deal? That's the most stupid question in the world I could ask you. Of course you want to do the deal. You love the program. You've told me you got $150,000 you want to start with. By the way, you've got more than $150,000 because they always have more than they tell you to start with. But you've told me you got $150,000 to start with. So I'm calling you with great news. You've been waiting for the phone call. You have been waiting for the phone call. So, of course, you're going to fund the deal. I'm not bringing you a deal that doesn't match the criteria of the program that I already taught you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just call you up. I give you great news, the overview of the deal. And the directive is you need to get your funds wired to my real estate attorney next Wednesday, because closing's next Thursday. I'm going to have my real estate attorney, Julie Wickheiser, email you the wiring instructions. And you're going to say, great. I mean, it's like, hey, look, it's like I've never, since 2009, since I started working with private lenders, I've never had a private lender step back and say, whoa, 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 whoa. I need to know more about this deal.
Yeah.
No, you taught them.
Yeah.
So you're the teacher. You're the teacher.
Well,
You
that
taught
is,
them. They've been waiting for the phone call, and all right, hallelujah. Let's go. So again, separate those conversations, and it's that simple. It really is that simple. Now, another fear. So that's the conversation. Another fear that new real estate investors have is, who in the world is going to loan me money? And I've never done a real estate deal. And beyond that, I've never done a real estate deal. I'm scared to death. I'm going to screw it up. And I'm going to make my private lender lose money. And I'm going to be in depression for 30 years until I die. Right?
That's the conversations that I hear. Yeah, for sure.
So how do you fix that? Here's a writer downer. Here's a writer downer for you, new real estate investor. If you don't pay the private lender, the property does. Okay? Now, what in the world does that mean? You see, you're not going to borrow unsecured money. You're not going to borrow unsecured money. You're going to give your private lender a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on the state you're in. You're going to give them a mortgage or deed of trust that collateralizes the note. Now, you're not going to borrow more than 75% of the after repaired value. I did not say 75% of the purchase price. You see, in this world of private money, I never take any money to the closing table when I buy. I always get a big check. Who wants to get paid to buy real estate and take none of your own money to the closing table? Me and you. So I'm not going to borrow more than 75% of the after repaired value. There's a writer downer. All right. And so you're going to protect them, right? So hey, look, your private lender doesn't want the property back. They don't want the property. They don't want to mess with it. That's why they're being passive and investing with you, so they can just sit back and collect, high rates of return and have their money. See, every private lender note that we do, and they fund the deal. Yep. That note is backed by the real estate that we are purchasing. Okay. So you can get rid of your fears. There's no fear of rejection. How can you be rejected if you don't ask anybody for money? You can't be rejected. I see the point. Yeah. You can't be rejected. How can you be rejected if you don't ever ask anybody to fund a deal? You call them up and give them good news. Right? So tell me, Jay, so if somebody wants to learn how to do this, how do they do it? Well, I guess we don't have time to train everything we know on this podcast or this show. So, Araceli, I've got fantastic news. Anybody interested in learning how to get a lot of private money really, really fast? I'm so excited about the new private money guide that I just recently finished writing. It's called 7 Reasons Why Private Money Will Skyrocket Your Real Estate Business and Help You Build Incredible Wealth. You can download this private money guide, get you on the fast track to getting private money just like I do at www.jayconner, that's JAYCONNER.com/money guide. So pay close attention. I'm an ER, not an OR. So that's Jay Conner, JAYCONNER.com/money guide. Download it, get on the fast track to getting private money. And you know what, Araceli? My phone number is actually in the private money guide. And you know what? Call me up. I actually answer the telephone. Can you believe that? Oh, no. Oh, what a concept. So that's amazing. So for anybody that did not get the website, I'm going to put it below in the comments. So just in case you didn't remember or you didn't spell it correctly, it would be in the comments so you don't lose out. Please download that guide. It's amazing. And so that's how they can get started, and then they can contact you if they have any more questions, correct? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this is amazing. I am so excited. I'm actually going to
complete reading it because I just downloaded it, and I'm a real estate investor. Definitely, I want to get on that, on that boat. I really want to do that because now I'm making more transactions, and this is happening to me. I'm, running out of money, and we don't want that. We want to continue buying, and this is for new investors. So Jay, this is so amazing. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this with us, because this is a topic that most real estate investors are always looking for. Because as I said before, no matter who you are, how much money you start with, you're going to run out of money at some point or another. And this is the way to continue that momentum of buying more properties. So thank you so much for being here, Jay. This is amazing. I'm so honored to have you and to show this to my listeners. And please contact Jay. He's got something that we all real estate investors need. So we'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much, Jay, for being here.
Thank you, Araceli, for having me. God bless you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.